Hello everybody, I hope you're all having a great day today. So right now I just wanted to come to you and I wanted to bring you guys another video about addiction. Now if you have a family member or if you have a loved one, a dad or a brother or sister or somebody who's in addiction, this video is a video for you. Now I have kind of shared a little bit of my story in the past. I do have a loved one who is in addiction and I know other people who are as well, and I know that sometimes when you are a family member, you know somebody, even a close friend of somebody who is addicted, it can feel really difficult. You feel very helpless. You feel like you don't know what you could do to help. You don't know if there's anything that you can do to help. You try to help, you have tried everything, and there's nothing left that you can do, and now you're in the stage of you have to let things be. This is a very hard time because right now is when you need to have a faith. You need to have a higher power. I don't know what it is for you. For me, it's God, it's Jesus. That's my faith. And I cling to that like nothing else in this world, because when nobody else wants to hear about my problems, when nobody else wants to talk about this person, when everybody's just over it, and God is the person that I can talk to. He never gets tired. He never gets annoyed. He never gets done with talking about it. He's never over it. He feels the same way that you do. He wants things to get better. He wants to be there for you. And I think having my faith has been the number one thing that's helped me throughout my issues with this. And I just want to tell you, if you're a family member, if you have a loved one that is in addiction, it's okay to set your boundaries. It's okay to say, no, I don't want this person even in my house, or whatever the case might be. Whatever is okay for you, you have to set those boundaries. You don't have to give up on them just because they are still in their addiction. Does not mean that you have to give up on them. You never have to give up on them, even if that means praying every single day for them and just setting aside a certain time of your day for that person. And prayer really helps, guys. It helps you and it helps the other person. Now, we all have a free will choice. So that person is using their free will to use the drugs. And that's not something that you can change. But you don't have to get into a headspace of depression or anxiety, or you're worrying about this person constantly. I was in a position of, I was once an enabler. I was once somebody, a toxic empath. I just took everything on myself, even that person's feelings and everything. I overdid it and I crashed. And that's not a good feeling. That's not a good place to be in. Times when you're the loved one of an addict, it can feel like, for you, it can feel like you don't, like, for instance, for myself, I'll say I never wanted to give up on the person. That wasn't my goal. I didn't want to give up, but there was a time when I had to draw the line and a boundary had to be set. But that doesn't mean that you are done with the person. So my point is that you don't have to give up on the person just because they're in addiction, or the rehab didn't work out, or whatever you guys did to try to fix it didn't work. I would advise you not to give up on this person. Like I said, even if that means praying for them every day, if that's all that you can do. And sometimes they get angry with you. Sometimes you're like, they flip it on you. That's one thing that addicts can do, is they will flip it on you like you did something wrong. Now, some addicts take full responsibility and they still choose to be doing what they're doing. But sometimes, especially when you're so close to them, they'll flip it on you and they'll make you feel like, oh, you're the reason why I use, you're this, you're that. And that can be very hard to hear, because you, on the other hand, are trying everything that you can to help this person, to help this situation be better, to help this person to realize what is going on, what they're doing to themselves. And it's just like a blinder. They just have like this blinder over them and they don't really see it. And when they do see it, it's still hard, because once they finally realize that this is a problem, by this time the drug has them so deep in it that their body is chemically used to it, and it's hard because they get super sick. Withdrawal is a horrifying thing to witness somebody go through. It's a horrifying experience, and some people don't make it out. You can even die from withdrawing. So this is what this person is facing. You know, it's like death if they try to withdraw, and death if they still stay doing it. And for them, it just feels like this never-ending cycle. And it's helped me a lot just to know and to be around it, and to just research it also as far as medically what it is, and what it causes your brain to do. Just having knowledge on it has really helped me grow to understand and, you know, have more compassion for this person and all of these people that I see. You know, my city is really stricken with addicts right now. Addiction is everywhere. It's not just in my city, but specifically where I am, I see a lot of addiction every single day, and it's hard to deal with. But I would just say, if you're a loved one of somebody who's an addict, keep praying for them. Keep hoping the best. If they call you and they say, oh, I'm trying to get sober, whether you believe it or not, just say, I'm proud of you. Tell them that you're proud of them. Tell them that you love them. Tell them, I can't wait to see you again. Tell them, you know, like I said, keep your boundaries, but you can be a light in a dark place. They're calling you because, you know, maybe they want something from you or whatever. Instead of blowing up on them, just say, you know, I don't have anything for you, but I love you and I'm here for you. If you want to talk, figure out a way that you can still support them. And this is really hard for the family member, because I think sometimes we feel like we're responsible to shun them. We're responsible to make them hit rock bottom or help them to hit rock bottom. But at the same time, I think that love is a very powerful thing, and I think that if you can love somebody through it and just support them, sometimes when it hits a certain point, there's nothing that you can do except for say, hey, I love you, I'm here for you, talk to you soon. Can't always be the tough guy. Sometimes people are people, they're human beings, and they need love too. And I'm not, you know, I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying enable this person. I'm not saying let them sleep on your couch, give them money, anything like that. They call you and ask for food. What's wrong with taking them a plate of food? What's wrong with just talking to them? What's wrong with spreading positivity? We should do that with everybody anyways, all the time. But especially in a situation like this, don't feel responsible to beat them over the head with what they're already doing, because honestly, they're doing it themselves every single day. What do you think they have the addiction? That's part of it. The shame, the guilt, the hurt, the pain, all of that. Don't add to that by being somebody that you don't even want to be. You want to love these people. You want to tell them, ask them if they're okay. You're not always going to get the reaction that you want out of them, but majority of the time, these people are great people until they start using drugs, and the drug changes them. They don't do the drugs do them. And it's really difficult to see. And I pray for everybody who is a part of it. I pray for all the children whose parents are addicts. I pray for, you know, the wives and the husbands and the grandparents and the moms and the dads. I pray for any family member that has to go through this, who has to watch their loved one basically kill themselves almost willingly. To you, in your eyes, it's willingly, and there's nothing that you can do. Your hands are tied. All you can do is sit back and pray to God that you don't get that call, and that call being they're in jail, they did something bad to somebody, they hurt themselves, or they're dead. Because honestly, those are the calls that us as the loved ones fear the most. Every single day, I fear that call. But all I can do is let that person know I don't give up on you. I'm still here for you. I still love you and I still support you. But I will not support the behavior. and I do have boundaries, but I pray every day for my loved one, and I pray that you guys don't give up on your loved one. I don't care what anybody says. And the thing about it is, why I said you have to have faith, is because people get sick and tired of hearing about your addicted loved one, because they're doing this now and they're doing this now, and you're crying and you're upset, and you're, when you're involved in it, when you're face to face with it, when it's in your home, it's a lot of drama. And your loved ones, they're not trying to be mean to you about it. They just don't want to see you go through it. And so we have to understand that, as being these people who are close to the addiction, they're the outsider looking in. So they see us struggling. They see us wanting to help. They see us bending over backwards. They see us being the toxic empath. They see everything that goes on, and they don't want that for us. And it's hard for them to hear, oh, this person's doing this again, and this person's doing this again, and here I go helping, and here I'm this and that. And it's just difficult for them. So don't be mad at those people either. If anything, explain to them what you're going through, and just tell them, hey, I would just really like your support. I know you don't support me doing this, and I know you don't support me supporting this person right now, but I just need you. A lot of the time when I was in my situation, I felt like a lot of people left me in a boat stranded in the middle of the ocean and said, okay, well, when you make it back to the shore, then I'll talk to you then. Basically, when you remove this person from your life, then I'll talk to you then. And it was like, all I wanted to do was help. I just wanted to help that person, and I tried everything that I could, and to the point of some bad stuff almost happening in my life, and just a point where I just had to let that go. But I became very angry with the loved ones that I had that pushed me away. And I was like, how could you do that to me? But now that I'm out of the situation, I could see how painful it was for them. They weren't being malicious. It was just painful for them to watch me go through that. And they couldn't do anything either. It was like the same thing with the addiction. There was nothing that they could do to get me out of that situation, unless I wanted to get myself out. That being said, this is always a touchy subject for me to talk about, but I do think that it's very important that I talk about it. It was a big part of my life, and it still is. I just want to bring positivity. I want to talk to you guys about real things that happen in the world. This is something very real to me and to my life, and pray for anybody who's going through it, anybody who's been through it. I'm a support system here. If you need to email me, comment below. Whatever the addiction is, something that you really, really have to have faith to get through. You really, really have to have faith, because the addict has their drug. They have that to calm them, to make them feel better. They have that at the end of the day, and we're sitting there and we're sober and we're thinking about our loved one, and we're worried and we're stressed out. And you have to have faith in something other than yourself, something bigger than yourself. You have to pray. You have to ask God for peace. Right now, just say, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. The enemy will get into your mind. He will get into your spirit. He'll make you think negative thoughts. I don't know how many times I have dreams that my loved one dies. They're in the morgue. They're calling me, and I have to go identify the body. These types of things. The enemy wants you to feel like this is the reality. This is what's going to happen. But I'm going to tell you what. I've seen people come out of addiction. I've seen people for years and years and years be sober and change their life. So if they can do it, your loved one can do it. And if I'm sitting here with 5 kids, I've got all this stuff on my shoulders, and I'm dealing with all this, and you can do it too. You can get through it. You can talk to God. You can talk your way out of it. You can fight the enemy back. Anytime something negative comes into my mind, that's what I say. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. I talk back to the enemy. You can talk back. You can use your words. And they say words don't hurt, sticks and stones and all that, but words do hurt. And the enemy knows that. And so he's going to get into your mind. He's going to fill you with negative thoughts. He's going to try his best to keep you down. And if he can keep you down, then that means you're not going to be praying for your loved one. And they can't pray for themselves right now. You need to stand in the gap for them. And I'm sorry if you're one of those people who say, oh, that's enabling them. They did it to themselves. They need to get themselves out of the hole. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I'm not saying that's not true. What I'm saying is, if you are the person who loves addict, then you have the right and you can do whatever you want. You can pray for these people. You can bring them something to eat. You can set your boundaries to whatever you feel like is okay. And anybody who loves you and supports you is just going to have to support and be there for you while you do that. And if they're not there for you, I'm sorry, but you might need to take a break from these people, honestly, because I guess I'm just at that point in my life where I feel like nobody's ever going to be happy with what you're doing unless you're happy with what you're doing. If you have a plan and you know that you have, this is what's set, this is what you're doing, this is how you feel about it, and you need to make up your mind. A made up mind makes a difference. And I feel like I'm rambling right now, but at the same time, I know that this is going to talk to somebody, this is going to speak to somebody, because I've been through it a lot of years and very close to it. And I know how you feel. I know you feel like you're going crazy. I know you feel like, this person is, if they're still in your close circle, they're telling you lies and they're making you believe, and you literally feel like you're going crazy. You're not crazy. You're just going through this right now, but you'll get through it. You need to open up your eyes. You need to see what's going on. You need to confront it, because the addict is in denial too. You're both in denial. You're just like, it's just a never-ending cycle. You need to break the cycle. You need to stop right now. You need to take a moment and lay it out and look at the logic and look at the reality of the situation and say, okay, this is what I need to do. These are my boundaries that I need to set. And tell yourself, because I told myself for a long time, if I kick this person out, then they're gonna die. If I let them stay here, we're drowning. If, what do I do? I just felt like there was nothing right in what I was doing. I felt like I could never win. I could never have what I wanted. And I could never have the happiness that I thought I was, I deserved, or whatever, the happiness that I wanted fully, because of the situation. And it was just so bad. And I didn't know what to do until I took a step back and I started talking to myself. I started helping myself feel better. I started healing myself, and I was able to let that situation go, and in the back of my mind just say, only God knows what's going to happen. Just because this person is out of my life now does not mean that I hate them, does not mean that I resent them even, does not mean that, I get angry, yes, I get upset, yes, that's normal, but I bring myself back to, I have to separate it. You have to learn how to compartmentalize your feelings for certain things. This is one of those things. You have to compartmentalize their life. That's something that they're choosing to do. You, as the friend, the family member, you're just there for support. And that's how it should be in a healthy relationship. Two whole people loving each other, coming together and making a friendship, relationship, whatever the case might be in your situation. But that person has to be whole. And if they're bringing you down, then you need to realize that that's not somewhere where you need to be. And you need to make boundaries. You need to set boundaries. But just because they're in this addiction, just because they're in a difficult place, doesn't mean you need to hate them. Doesn't mean that you need to stop talking about them or give up on them. You don't have to give up on them. You can love them in your own way. You can be there for them in your own way. But always remember that you need to love yourself first. You need to take care of yourself first, because first and foremost, you have to be able to be good. Be good enough for yourself. You have to feel good about yourself. You have to feel positive in order to pray. I mean, you don't have to feel positive to pray, but there's a time where it just gets, I mean, for me, it just got really bad where I felt like I couldn't even pray. I was angry, I was hurt, I was all these things, and I couldn't pray for this person. I couldn't speak to this person. I didn't want to be around them. I just had so much hate, and I had to get rid of that in order to be where I am today, where I can talk about it openly, and I can be positive about it, and I can have compassion for it, and I can still love in my own way and have boundaries and be able to wish the best for this person who wronged me and did things that hurt me, and even them hurting themselves hurt me because I care so much. And if you're in this situation, just know that you can get through it. But I guess the number one thing that I just want to stress is just take care of yourself, because it's going to be difficult. By no means am I saying it's going to be easy, but it can get better. And this just really requires you to work on yourself and do whatever you have to do. And in turn, that's going to help you to feel better about the situation, because it's going to take a while. And I advise you to take your time with this. Don't rush it. Don't go rush into another relationship. Do anything crazy. Just let yourself feel the feelings that you need to feel. Let yourself feel the pain, feel the hurt, cry it out, yell, whatever, go for a drive, whatever you have to do it over and over again. And start building a healthier routine. Because when we're in these situations with these loved ones, we kind of get into a routine of unhealthy behavior just like they do. It's almost like you live like an addict, but you're not. Because if you live in the same house as them, some of the stuff that's going on, it changes the whole mood in the house. I mean, it changes the way that you feel sometimes. And we need to get out of that. We need to learn how to be ourselves again. We need to learn what makes us happy again. We need to learn how do we get back to square one again. How do we get to re-know ourselves again and what's healthy, and break these toxic behaviors. Because if that person tries to come back and you don't have your boundaries and you're not strong enough, you're going to let them back in. You're going to go back and forth and around and around and around. And I did it for a long time. So I'm saying it not to make you feel bad, but because I know, because I've been there, and I don't want to see you guys do that. So I want you guys to work on your health first. Work on you first. Work on your mind first. Work on your faith first. And then, once that's done, you can go back in with your loved one after you've decided your boundaries, and you can work on that space. You can work on forgiving yourself. You can work on forgiving them. You can work on, now maybe a prayer for them or something. If they call you, you're not going off on them. You're not screaming your head off at them. Telling them what a piece of crap they are. It's just a work in progress, guys. And this is a longer video today because I really, really care about this situation. And this situation has really touched my heart. Addiction has really touched my heart a lot. And I don't talk about it enough. I don't get to say how I feel enough about it. Sometimes I even feel like I'm bothering just by talking about it. But at the same time, this is what this platform is for. And if you don't like these types of videos, then maybe this is not the video for you. But I thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm praying for you guys. Remember, if you need somebody to talk to, I know it gets lonely, I'm here. Email me, comment down below. I'm here for you. You are not alone in this. You don't have to be in the middle of the ocean on the boat by yourself. I'm here, and I support you. And thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I pray that you would share it with somebody who needs it. Thank you for loving your addicted loved one, because a lot of people write them off, and I know they're grateful to have you, and I'm grateful that you have not given up on them. So Thank you guys again, and I hope you guys have a great night. Bye.